Hey there guys, my name is Blake, also known as The Nerd, and welcome back to another episode of Hatsune Miku Project Mirai DX. Last time, we played and finished the final song of the game, and talked about 100% completion for those who are really crazy and seek 100% completion of Mirai DX, which can take a while. This episode is not going to focus on specific gameplay elements since we've pretty much talked about everything that needs to be talked about in the game, minus one thing which I will save most likely for the next episode in case you want to know what's up ahead for this episode, and just in case you don't want to watch the rest of this video, because we'll be discussing some things that I wanted to talk about for a while that I didn't really think would blend in to the gameplay of the series. And what exactly do I mean by that? YouTube's copyright system, because you can't have stuff related to Miku without talking about copyright, right? For those of you who need a refresher on how the YouTube copyright system works, whether you're a person that uploads videos or a person that watches videos and wonders what those little captions are on the bottom that don't belong to us personally, that is usually found in the description of every video. Briefly putting it, if any content matches what's in their system, it will result in a copyright claim. So for example, let's say I upload a video that features the song The World Is Mine. YouTube will search their system to see if the song in that video is related to the song that is in their system. If it matches, it's going to result to a copyright claim. If you happen to get one of these in one of your videos, don't worry, a lot of them are completely harmless. Basically, they're just here to tell you, hey, you have something in your video that doesn't belong to you, but rather belongs to someone else. However, some of them may have ads running that all the revenue from that video of yours will go towards them. This can be very bad, especially if you're a YouTube partner that only uses YouTube for a living. And it can be worse if something like Mirai DX is your first playthrough on your channel. However, if you have multiple videos on your channel that are not claimed, you should be fine with uploading Mirai DX content, since those videos that are not related to Mirai DX, minus some of the songs they'll talk about later, can make you revenue that some of the videos that are claimed cannot. Trust me when I say this because I have over 1,500 videos uploaded on my YouTube channel, and a lot of them are not claimed, so I'm pretty good in terms of monetization. With that being said, get ready for your screen to be bombarded with the many songs that can be claimed whenever you upload Project Mirai DX videos. In total, there are 25 songs that can give you a copyright claim. However, the only exception to this rule that I've highlighted in a different color, I don't exactly know which color I've highlighted because I'm actually recording all this before it gets to the editing process. Most of the time you are going to get claimed, but when I uploaded the second episode of Mirai DX, that particular song did get claimed. Probably because there is also commentary within that. It's a little weird sometimes if you have commentary within that song, or if it's overlapping the song, you will get claimed. If it's just the song itself, you are definitely going to get claimed. And like I mentioned before, if you happen to get a claim, you don't need to panic because it's completely harmless. And if you get a claim by the name original creator, just know that's actually Krypton Future Media Incorporated. And if you're wondering about the link, don't worry, it's not going to give you a virus. It's just stating what YouTube would have stated themselves. However, and I put a big emphasis on however, there are some songs in Mirai DX that can get your video blocked. The list which you're seeing is not as big as the songs that can be claimed. However, it's really worth noting since a copyright block is much worse than the copyright claim. If your video gets blocked, certain countries, depending on who's claiming it, will not be able to view your video. The songs highlighted in a different color, again, I don't know which color, whether it's the same or different, can be blocked. However, if it's mostly from Mirai DX, it will most likely just get a claim. If it is blocked, it's only going to be blocked in 5 countries. Those being Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, the United States, and surprisingly enough, South Korea. This was updated since 2016, and I don't know why South Korea was excluded. Maybe Miku does not that well in South Korea, or maybe she does well enough to where certain users can block the songs. I don't really know. It's kind of interesting in South Korea of all places. With these ones, you can choose to dispute because, again, it's only 5 countries, and most of the time, they will actually dispute those blocks. I've had experience with exit tunes and blocking of some of the songs, and they've been pretty responsive, so I imagine if you get blocked by these, and because it's Vocaloid music, I imagine it might be easy for them to dispute the block. Of course, there's also VPNs that people can access, whether it's free or paid, so even though disputing those claims are still highly recommended in terms of blockings, people can still access those videos with uses of VPN, so we live in a nice world where that's an option. But you know what's not nice? Globe being blocked worldwide, meaning VPNs cannot be used to listen and watch videos based on this specific song. You will have to dispute it if it's your only song. However, if you're like me and you did this as like a Let's Play sort of thing, you are going to have to get creative if you have multiple audio tracks. I'm actually just surprised I was able to find another song that was blocked worldwide and not by Sega themselves. Speaking of which, Sega, when are you gonna fix that copyright block thing? It's starting to bother me. That's it in terms of the copyright issues I wanted to talk about, especially with Mirai DX. However, there is one more topic I want to talk about, and that is the unused content, not only Mirai DX, but Project Mirai in general. Yeah, these games are already filled to the brim with content. It's shocking to find unused content in these sort of games. But at the same time, not really, as it does make it fun to explore what could have been. One of them is this screen with Japanese kanji, which I don't know whether that's supposed to be a filler screen, or if it was an alternative The End, or it was early beta version of like the end screen and whatnot. I don't know, I just find it pretty cool. Well, aside from that little small thing, let's talk about some unused objects in the room aspect of the game. One of them was this really nicely drawn poster with the words Tsutaya on the bottom right and a little logo. Believe it or not, this is not something made up for the world of Mirai DX, or Project Mirai at this point, but rather it's actually based on a real location and a real store in Japan. Tsutaya is actually similar to Blockbuster, where it's a video rental shop as well as a bookstore and is a big chain in Japan. Nice to know there's still places you can rent videos outside of the United States, because here we only have Redboxes and Netflix. Such a sad time for video rental stores here. You know, assuming there are still video stores in America left. There was also this Christmas poster with Miku serving up turkey, Rin, Len, Luca, Maiko, Kaito, and Teto of all Vocaloids. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is accurate or not, but my best guess is Teto might have been considered for Project Mirai because of this poster, but sadly that didn't turn out to be the case, and she was downgraded from a playable character in Project Diva to a silhouette in Aku no Musume. Which is kind of sad because Teto being kind of playable in the Project Mirai series would have been kind of a nice addition. And my best guess with the Christmas poster is that it would have been seasonal, much like with the Christmas tree, but they decided just to go with the Christmas tree to save up room, and having two seasonal items being temporary would not be a smart play. In terms of unused stages, there is actually evidence of a dance studio version of Commonwealth Domination, indicating that any booklet that you're presented with in the dance studio could have the option to perform on that stage. I can kind of understand why they removed it because it doesn't look too much like a stage meant for dancing. Then there's probably one of the most surprising stages I think I've seen in Project Mirai history, and I kind of wish it existed in Project Mirai, and that was the stage for Change Me from Project Diva 2nd, indicating that Change Me at some point was considered to be in the game as well. I did mention in the playthrough when we played through the Rhythm game that Kaito and Maiko really did need some more love, especially in the Project Mirai series, and seeing this not used at all is a big slap in the face to that idea. There are quite a few unused modules as well, indicating more songs would have likely appeared, or alternative costumes to some songs that already exist in Project Mirai. For instance, there was a second module for Piano Girl, indicating that this was most likely an alternative costume, and this would be the only song to have alternative costumes, which would make it feel a bit more Project Diva-y, which I really don't mind. And sure, they considered a second alternative module for Piano Girl, but not a second alternative module for Romeo and Cinderella in terms of vintage dress. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna let go of that anytime soon. It still frustrates me to this day. There was also going to be a module for Luca specifically based on the song Leia, indicating at one point that Leia from the Project Diva arcade games would have been considered to be included in Project Mirai. If that's the case, us people outside of Japan would have been able to play Leia for the very first time, and it would be released outside of the arcades for the first time as well. But thanks to Feature Tone's release in 2017, a lot of us that weren't able to go to arcades, whether it was in Japan or in specific areas in North America and Europe, which I believe some of them still exist in those areas, I'm not entirely sure, we were able to play Leia because of that. But the idea of having it in Mirai before the arcade games, allowing us to play it first before we even got the Future Tone game we got today, that would have been amazing. And then there was this module, which had nothing on the front and a number 1 on the back. This might look weird, especially for someone like Miku, and you're totally right, because this was not meant for Miku at all, but rather, this was meant for your Mii. Yeah, Miis would have been included in Mirai DX. Supposedly, these were used in the AR mode in the first Mirai game, but has not been out ever since, which is kind of weird. I thought they would have capitalized on the whole Mii thing on the 3DS, but I guess there wasn't enough space in the game storage to make that happen. I'm not entirely sure about that one. Now we get to the main course of all the unused material in the Mirai series, the unused songs. And let me tell you, there's a whole bunch of them that we need to cover. So alongside Change Me a Leia, which we've already talked about, there were other Vocaloids planned that wasn't just Gumi. One of them was I, which is sung by the Chica Vocaloid. The other one is Phantom Thief Concert / F, which was sung by 10 Vocaloids, including the 7 in-game Vocaloids Iya, Gakupo, and Mayu. Now these 4 Vocaloids that you're seeing on screen right now are obviously not in the final game. However, they would have been guest stars at one point, much like Gumi, where she only had specific songs and she was able to give you advice and little items. I imagine that's how they would function in as well. And much like Gumi, this would also be their first appearance in the Project Diva series as a whole. It's actually interesting that they actually considered more than just 7 Vocaloids, but in the long run, it does make sense why they stuck with 7. 1 guest star and the 6 that actually sell Vocaloid stuff, despite the fact that some of you may have a personal attachment to specific Vocaloids that aren't Miku or the other 5. Alongside those 2 songs, the other 2 mentioned earlier on, Love Trick, which would have made its first appearance in the games, Remote Controller, Packaged, Stargazer, I'll Make You Do the Miku Miku, You'll Do It, Requiem for the Phantasma, and Colorful X Melody were also considered to be in the Mirai games. This is actually a really strong lineup of songs that have not been used, and I wish a lot of these were actually in the games, though I guess due to space limit, it would make sense as well. And knowing how Colorful X Melody is handled worldwide on YouTube, I'm actually glad this song isn't in the final game, because holy cow, that would be another song to worry about in terms of copyright blocks, and it'd be an even worse case. The crazy thing is that some of these songs already appear within Mirai's data codes, and people have been able to data mine and post videos about some of the songs that could have actually made it into Mirai DX. If you want to check them out, I'll provide you guys with a playlist on the top right corner that has all the unused Mirai DX songs within the game's binary codes. It's honestly really interesting, and again, I really wish some of these songs would have made it into the final product, because I actually like playing some of these songs in Future Tone. It would have been really cool to experience those songs for the first time, alongside the songs that I've already played for the first time in Mirai DX 3 years ago. But with that being said, that is everything I wanted to talk about in terms of the copyright stuff and the unused content. So I am almost out of breath, and that was a lot of cutting out a whole bunch of audio to put it all together. But with that being said though, that is it for this episode, and the next episode is going to be the final episode. We talked about so many things, but I think it's time we had a nice long vacation. And I know exactly where we're going to have our vacation. So until we meet again, if there's any episodes you missed, whether from the past or from the future, then please check them out down in the description below, the eye in the top right corner, or the upcoming end slate. With all that being said though, my name is Blake, also known as the Nerd. I am almost running out of breath, so I'll see you guys in my next episode, or the next episode. I've been talking so much, I'm starting to lose brain cells. So until we meet again, do remember to take care.